There you go.
Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live. Habari Live. From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast. The show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Aisha, Jimmy, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the week's information and more. We'll be talking about some great things today. We're thrilled to bring you the latest edition of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the pulse of Phoenix and beyond. Like always, we are all the way live in Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Damon Dipleen Ellison, and my co-host Aisha, she'll be back in a second, will be your go-through guide for the exciting stories and everyday happenings in our vibrant community. Your weekly dose of inspiration, innovation, and insightful conversations from the heart of our city. So let's get it going. So today, Habari Live, where we bring you, a lot of conversations and inspiring stories from remarkable individuals making a difference in our community. Today we have Katie Turnbridge, Tunbridge. Is it Tunbridge?
Tunbridge.
Tunbridge. There we go. We're going to welcome her to the show. Thanks for coming in and talking to us. We really appreciate it. We're thrilled to have her today. She's a talented voiceover artist. She's also a musician. She's a singer, songwriter, and also a producer. Katie Turnbridge, originally from Australia, and now she's based in Los Angeles. She has spent over 30 years in the music, TV, and film industry, working with legends like Pharrell Williams, L.O. Black, Bruce Watson, and many, many more artists. She's currently making waves with her latest track, "Living Through Your Teeth," "Lying Through Your Teeth," I'm sorry, which blends fiery guitar riffs with James Bond style drama. The song has earned her nominations at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today and discuss some of her, history in music and some of the people that she's teamed up with, like Grammy nominated producer Billy Smiley for an upcoming album featuring an all-star lineup of musicians. Hello, Katie. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
for
me.
thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know we had some technical difficulties. I have no idea what it was, but we
It's a
fixed
mystery.
it. Right. So we really appreciate you joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about the track and a little bit about being nominated?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for your introduction, and thank you again for having me. So,
Most definitely.
yeah, Lying Through Your Teeth, I released as part of the album. So the album dropped October 11 last year, and that was super exciting. So Lying Through Your Teeth was nominated at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards,
Okay.
which was fantastic. And it was also nominated for the World Entertainment Awards, which was just this
Oh,
past January
okay.
31st. So I was actually nominated in 4 different categories
Wow.
for that. And I got to perform my song Superhero at the award show.
Wow.
And then, drum roll, I won. So I won. I won for my song "Grab the Wheel." Won Best Americana Song. So that was
Wow.
I was so grateful for that. So yeah,
That's amazing. So
thank you.
a 30-year career. That's
Yes,
amazing there.
yes,
Staying to stay relevant in the music game that long is very tough, man. People's move on. The people that you may have been able to gain as fans when they were younger, 30
Mhm.
years later is kind of hard to still be listening to the music that you listened to at that time. How have you been able to stay relevant for all these years and stay interested into this? It's a tough game, and be able to keep your head on straight.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, I've got solid people around me that kind of keep me grounded. But I think just like I've moved so often, like in my life and career. So as far as like who I've worked with and developing my craft and
Hmm.
just kind of staying fresh and collaborating with different people,
Okay.
always kind of brings that that freshness and that that relevancy
Yeah.
to the table. So I kind of always try and think about what's happening in the world. And I guess first and foremost, I'm a songwriter, so I write from just kind of I guess what I've gone through and what I see
Hmm.
other people go through, or just life experiences,
Yeah.
and then just adapt that into and channel it into the music and into the projects I'm working on.
Phew. Man, I know. I was a halfway musician back in my day, but it was really hard. I gave up before I even got really into the music business because how tough the business is, just the business aspect of
Oh yeah.
trying to climb that mountain to get to a place where people are even recognizing your songs and recognizing what you're doing. It's really tough. So how did you kick the door down when you first got into music? What was your first step up that you felt like, okay, maybe I can have a career in this?
Yeah, I think like it kind of helps that I'm stubborn
Mhm.
in a way, so
Right.
I just keep going. Like, and even like you can get so many knockbacks, and like you can hear so many no's, but it's just like, okay, well, that whatever it is within me was just like, okay, no, I just keep going, just keep going, just keep doing it, and if
Mhm.
something's not working, then kind of like tweak it, re-evolve
Yeah.
it, see where you're at, see how people are responding. But yeah, it's just pretty much like adaptability, and I think the first time, I think it was when I was 8 years old, I performed in front of 1,500 people,
Wow.
an original song I wrote when I was like 7 or something, and a cover song, and I got a standing ovation, and then it was like my little 8-year-old self was like, I want to do this forever, and then so I kind of caught that, and then kind of just going through stuff and doing like musical theater and just kind of
Mhm.
you know picking up the guitar when I was 8 years old and just playing and evolving and just kind of hearing just the support and just the feedback from other people that was like, okay, well, you know, I don't suck, as much as I
Right.
believe I do. I'm like, that was horrible. But you just kind of yeah, just kind of keep it real with yourself, I find, and then just kind of like go from there.
Wow. 8 years old, you did your first show. So
Yeah.
what were you was it a song that you wrote, or was it just something that was already you were just covering a song?
No, so I wrote it. It was like part of a class assignment, and the assignment was you can either write a poem, write a short story, or write a song.
Okay.
And I was like, gonna write a song. And then so it was like and I won't swear on this, but it wasn't good. It was like pretty like crap, I felt. And then my mom was like, no, it's so great. It was called Sun, Sea, Surf and Sand. And then so
Wow.
and then because I grew up on the beach in Sydney,
Right.
Australia, and then so yeah, I was just kind of like singing it, and anyway, but yeah, so it was just that, just keep doing your thing and
Yeah.
see what happens.
That's incredible though. I mean, because at a young age, knowing your love and going for it it's tough to do. And some people are in
Yeah.
their 30s and they still don't know what they want to do. So
Especially if
it's
you don't have support,
hmm.
like I had like certain family members that was just like, you'll never make a career in
Hmm.
music, like you'll never, that whole
Right.
stereotypical story. But it was just like, thank God for my mom and my grandmother, my nan.
Hmm.
They were just like my biggest supporters. So
Man, you have to have that.
you
I
do.
think, I try to blame that on myself. I try to blame others for me failing because I felt like if you don't have anyone in your corner, it's tough to make it, especially
Oh,
when you're young and you're looking for encouragement and you have no one to go to when you're feeling down and when you're feeling like it's impossible. Um, that's why it's best, you encourage your kids. You stay in with your kids, make sure that they feel like you're in their corner, because that's almost the biggest thing for you to feel successful is having
100%.
those people in your corner telling you, "Hey, you can do it. You can make it. This is your chance." And I think sometimes, some people who have it, they take it for granted, and others, you think that you can make it without that, but sometimes it's hard to do that without love. Hate can't always fuel your success. Sometimes it has to be love. Go ahead and refresh it, I guess. Refresh that page,
Hmm.
the Instagram, yeah, because it's not moving. Yeah, so that's what you have to do sometimes. So let me get into my first question for you. Congratulations on the award. That is amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
how does it feel to win, and how did it feel that day to win when you were in the Independent Music Awards?
Yeah, so the World Entertainment Awards, it was part of the Grammys weekend. So there was like all the Grammys
Mm,
people there, and that was kind of, you know, not intimidating at all. And then so, in there and just being able to, perform the song
yeah.
was just, even being nominated in four different categories
Mhm.
was just like a buzz. So
Yeah.
that was such an honor. And it was like, okay, well, when I was sitting in the theater, I just, I was, everything's coming up and they're announcing the different categories. And I was like, okay, well,
Mhm.
you know, like Best Americana and Katie Turnbridge, grab the wheel. And, kind of really kind of like, I was like, I kind of had to like really just kind of go, wait a second, was that me? Like,
Mhm.
so I ended up, going down the front, accepting the award. And yeah, it was just so humbling, and I was so grateful.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, to come from where you're coming from, Australia, then come to America, make your footprint, and then still be able to be successful. It's a tough business. So how did you get hooked up with some of the people that I was naming off in the beginning, Pharrell and all of those different people? You're in. What would you say your genre of music is first for the people, so they can know what kind of music you do?
I guess it's kind of more pop, but very very much more like alternative,
Okay.
I would say. But even like on the record, like I've there's a reggae track because like I love reggae. Like I grew up with reggae, and
Mm,
then yeah, just kind of my exposure to like music as I was younger was just like everything, like
ah,
Motown, like, Aretha Franklin type stuff, like
okay.
reggae, rock, um, heavy metal, like kind of a little bit, but not really. It was just kind of just listening to it going, huh, that's kind of,
Mhm.
high
Yeah.
energy, like craziness. But yeah, so like I kind of I don't know what it is about me. Like I just ended up, half the time just being in the right place at the right time.
Mhm.
And even just like so the doing the Pharrell and Aloe Black song, that was like the cover song "Love Is the Answer," and
Okay.
even that I got Warren G's sound guy playing like some of the guitars and percussion, and
Wow.
Tom Jones, drummer on that track. Actually, no, Tom Jones bass player, Les
Goodness.
King, on that track, and he's just a machine. He's phenomenal. Um, and then yeah, kind of just like where life kind of takes me. Like I was actually at a guitar shop getting like a guitar set up, and Bruce Watson from Foreigner was in the uh, in the store, and it was just I was there with Warren G's sound guy, and then so we're just like, hey, this is Katie Turnbridge, Bruce
Mhm.
Watson, Katie, hi, how's it going? Da-da-da. Hey, she's cutting a record. Do you want to play on it? Sure, let's do it. So yeah, it was just kind
Amazing.
of like, oh my god. And then stuff with like
Wow.
Nashville, even getting invited to perform and to kind of like later, the first year I got asked to perform, and then um, just kind of in the room with like Tom Jackson and like Billy Smiley, and
Mm.
like just kind of them hearing my music and hearing my heart and the vision that I have for the music. It was just like, okay, well, let's work together. So yeah, Dolly Parton's bass
Yeah.
player and
Do you kinda have to
phenomenal musician.
Do you kind of have to pinch yourself sometimes when you're in these rooms with these people
Yes.
that are so so famous? You have to
Yeah,
just,
it's exactly right. And then so with the record, like we recorded it in three different studios in Nashville. So the Castle, which is just beautiful studio, Peter Frampton's studio, and
Mm,
the Sound Kitchen Studios in Franklin. And just kind of like walking
wow.
the halls even and seeing all like the gold and like platinum records on the wall, it was just like, oh my gosh. And like, like Miley Cyrus, Dolly Parton and Keith
Man,
Urban and, just
goodness.
all these like Katy Perry, Lady Gaga. Like it's just like where did Lady Gaga stand when she performed, when she sang what part? Here? Like right here, right here.
Right,
And then so yes,
right.
absolutely. And then even, like just like before we're gonna record, um, we kind of like talk about the song and like the feel and the emotion, and we've got all the musicians there, um, and Gary Lunn, who's Dolly Parton's bass player, is such a sweetheart, and he's like, like tell me about like what the song like means to you, or like kind of why you wrote it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like pinch me moments. And Dan Needham is just
Right.
like an amazing drummer who's drummed for like everybody,
Man.
but so humbling, and they're just so lovely. Like they're just solid people. So I'm so grateful.
What is the what is the music environment like in Australia? Like is are you guys really big in American music, or do you guys really just focus on the stars and artists that's coming up from
I've
Australia?
kind of been out of Australia now for like 13 years because I lived in New York for 5.5 years and then
Hmm.
in LA. But I mean, to
Okay.
be honest, like there's a lot of great musicians and artists in Australia that don't really kind of have the platform to kind of get recognized. So there are some
Yeah.
stations in Australia that kind of like uplift, new and upcoming artists and stuff like
Australian
that.
artists.
But yeah, we have a
Yeah.
very wide, like just hugely influenced by American music, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of crazy because I was thinking to myself, like, man, I can't. What's the biggest artist from Australia right now? I couldn't even think of any right off
Yeah,
the top of my head.
kind of
So that's
kind of same,
yeah,
which is
it's
really bad.
yeah, it is really bad. I know a lot of Australian actors that come here and
Yeah.
kill it. You know, they do
Mhm.
very very well. But I'm trying to think of artists that
Yeah.
come here and have done well. Look up some Australian artists here
I think
that's
is
done
it
well
like
for me,
Boy
babe.
and Bear? Are they
Find
Australian?
any.
I'm not. I'm not sure. I
I'm
don't.
not sure because
But
I've never even heard of them.
Gautier, Gautier is like, yeah, Gautier would be like the
Go TA,
probably the biggest one.
the biggest. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Uh,
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie
Yeah,
Minogue.
yeah,
Oh,
you gotta
Kylie
come
Minogue. There
on
you
now,
go. You go.
Minogue.
She said
Now I
Minigue.
feel horrible. Sorry, Kylie. Let's collab. Let's work together. Let's do something.
But yeah, you think about
Um,
Kylie's music. It's very American.
Sia.
Sia,
Yes, of course.
Sia.
Like now, like once
hmm
you say it,
the one that would wear the black and white hair bow all
like
over
chandelier.
her
Oh, okay,
eyes.
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I remember it now.
I
Chandelier.
Yeah,
can't
okay.
always
Yeah.
That's a
go to
great song.
town. What's that song?
Keith
Go
Urban.
Oh,
down all
really?
through the
hmm
night.
Olivia
Yeah, Olivia
Newton-John.
Newton-John.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
See,
know
I'm
that.
like,
Uh, John
who was
Farnham.
that?
Mm,
Oh, John
John
Farnham. Yeah,
Farnham.
Johnny
I'm not
Farnham is
familiar with
like he's the voice. He's phenomenal. I
John.
respect him so much.
Uh, and then there's Paul Kelly
Guy
and Guy
Sebastian's great.
Sebastian.
Mm. I have to look up because I've heard of a couple of them, but
Well,
some of them I
there's
haven't.
42 people on this list.
Okay, so I'm asleep.
Yeah, no, I love Guy Sebastian. He's great.
That's
ACDC. I did not know ACDC was
Delta
Australian.
Goodrum,
AC/DC is
ACDC,
Australia.
Delta
They're
Goodrum.
Australian.
Yeah. hmm
Really?
Iggy
Iggy.
Man.
Azalea.
Oh, I knew that. I did know that Iggy Azalea was from
See,
Australia.
once
I
you
did know
hear
that.
once you hear the
How
names,
does
you're
rap
like,
do
oh
Australia?
yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. You couldn't think of
You
any
couldn't
off the
think
top
of
of your
them until
head,
you start
right?
seeing them. Yep.
How does hip hop do in Australia?
Yeah,
Does it do
great.
pretty well? Is it a
Yeah,
big
we
hip
love
hop
hip hop.
market there?
Like, and then I grew up like, not to kind of give
Mm,
away my age, but like I grew up like in the 90s. So like, it's listening to like Salt and Pepper,
yeah,
Montreal Jordan, like Tupac, like Black Eyed
definitely.
Peas. Like
Yeah,
I was there, you know.
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So, what made you make that move here? Did you finally feel like, nah, I'm getting too big for Australia, or did you feel like, hey, this is a good opportunity for me to be able to widen my career, make my career a little bit larger if you get into the American
Yeah, I
market?
think a little bit of everything that you just said. I think because like there is America has like that bigger platform and more opportunities, I guess,
Hmm.
for artists and
Yes. Hmm.
there's great musicians in Australia, but just a different feel of musicians in the States, obviously. Especially too when I lived in New York, I was in like so many different writing
Hmm.
sessions and I ended up like writing a song with Full Force. I don't know if you know Full Force and like
Wow.
and Be Fine and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, like we would just like um, yeah, talk about music and just like come up with different like hooks. I'd like have a beat that I'd written or a hook on guitar I had, and I'd send it to B, and I'd be like, "Hey, what do you
Yeah.
reckon? What do you think of this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's cool, it's cool." Anyway, but yeah, so
Wow.
just I've been like, I think just I kind of tend to push myself, like push and I guess
Hmm.
that whole stubborn mindset of me, and just kind of like
Yeah.
keep going kind of thing. I I don't mind a challenge. Like I like to kind of challenge myself. So I think even though it
Hmm.
has been, it's hard and there's sacrifices that you kind of like, have to do, it kind of, eventually pays off. But it just, I just saw like a better, bigger platform um, here. But
Yeah. And did you come out by yourself, or did your family move with you? How did you do that?
just me. So I actually, so I
Goodness.
won a scholarship here in LA back in 2011, and that was an acting scholarship. So I
Okay.
was here, like living between Sydney and LA for 3 years, and then
Wow.
I won. I win a lot. I got like so like the green card lottery, and then so I moved to New York, and then I was 5.5 years in New York. So um, yeah, just kind of.
Goodness. How was that? I know that was a culture shock to just be dropped
Oh
off
my
in
God,
New York. It's
yes, and
so
like I had
big
never
and
been to New York before I moved there, and it was just like
right.
me and like two suitcases, literally. And then
Wow.
just
I do
I don't
not
know
know how you
either.
did that.
I'm sure there's a method to my madness somewhere, but you know, uh, love a challenge. No, so yeah, but
Man.
that was obviously you learn a lot, and culturally,
Mhm.
things are different, but you just I guess for me, I just
Yeah.
adapted and do what I can.
You one thing I can say about you just going through your story, you have multiple genres of music, from alt pop to R&B to rock. You've worked on reggae songs. You don't really care about where a person is from, what a person looks like. If they can bring music to you,
Hmm.
you work with them, and you don't mind where they're from and what music or history they're from. You'll work with them, and I really think that's really really great, especially in these times of a lot of hate that's still
Yeah.
going around right now, and you don't seem to care about those things. You just want to make good music, and I really really like that. In your history, what made you that way? What made you so open to others and other ideas, instead of being a lot of artists are very focused in
Hmm.
on them, and not really want to go on
Yeah, I
outside their
know that's a
box.
great question. I think, like, kind of growing up, I always felt like I was like the outcast. I always felt like I didn't fit in. So, and then obviously growing
Hmm.
up in Australia, there's, like all walks of life. There's like, Aboriginals, like there's, and I dated an Aboriginal guy. And then, I guess I've just always been just exposed to like just everyone. And I just thought it was normal, like,
Yeah.
and so I kind of, yeah, just going through what I went through, and even just like musical theater stuff, there was, obviously great singers of all colors and um,
Yeah.
nationalities and shapes and sizes. And I just
Hmm.
just kind of came to like, well, everyone's just coming together, and if we can work together and create something amazing, like unify kind of thing, and just kind of go, okay, we're all
Yeah.
working towards something great, like a show, whether it was a show or something like that, or a track,
Hmm.
and it's, I guess I've just kind of always been open, and I don't, um, yeah, I don't know, just my upbringing, I guess, and just how I perceive the
That's
world. Like,
cool.
okay, we're better together, so let's do this.
Right. It's so cool, man. I really love that
Thank
about you,
you.
and just learning about you, and that was one of the first things that really caught my eyes. Just if you work with some of the biggest names in the industry, like Pharrell Williams, Bruce Watson, what is one of your most memorable lessons you've learned with collaborating with some
Mm,
of these artists?
gosh, again, just be open, like, uh,
Hmm.
I remember I used to do a lot of writing sessions in New York, and there was, like the people that are like, like really strong on lyrics. And so they're like, these are my lyrics, and like, da da da.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of, there could be like, I don't know, 8 people in the room or 10 people in the room. And, you've just got to be flexible. You can't be like so hung up
Yeah.
on like, no, like that was my lyric. That was like, it should be this. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, give and take. And the more flexible you kind of
Yeah.
are, like just the easier it's going to be, and like, and people want
Easier to
to,
work with you.
you know. But I
Hmm.
guess one of the greatest
Yeah.
lessons, yeah, just that, just kind of be open to, but obviously
Hmm.
too, like knowing your place. Like if I'm like producing a track, then I'm like more like head producer type, so I kind of can steer it in a way.
Right.
Whereas if it's someone else that is mostly driving it, it's kind of like, okay, well, how about this, and then it's kind of like just that relationship of kind of like knowing who's in the
Hmm.
room, like knowing your place, but also don't not being afraid to kind of like have a solid input.
Yeah. And I think that, a lot of artists, that's something they run into once they start recording, that the producer wants a say. The producer, he's trying to produce a good track for you. So he may want you to do certain things or have certain ideas. You have to be open to those ideas. Even though this is your track, this is your
Mm-hmm.
song you wrote, he's trying to make the track the best, or her, the best that it can be. And sometimes, as me myself as an artist, I think that was one of the hardest
Mm-hmm.
things to get over, is to get over yourself and to be able to be open to criticism from all ways, and be able to make that take that criticism and make it into something that's going to be loved by everyone. And I think sometimes you get so caught up in writing your lyrics and thinking that this is great from you, but you have to look at other people's perspective and try to get that thing going with the producer, for you can have a good relationship with them, and the song can come out the best that it can. I'm not saying that you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have an opinion, but you want to also listen, and don't be so hard on your opinions that you can't be changed or taken off of that block to look at your song from a different
Mm-hmm.
perspective. And I think a lot of artists struggle with that, because it's kind of tough to give up, that power that you have over your song. This is my song. This is how I want it to be. But sometimes a person can see what you're doing and say, "Hey, if you take it
Yeah.
here, this is a hit." And sometimes people just get too caught up in their ideas, and then they take it as disrespect when someone doesn't. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
love the idea, but they think they should tweak a couple things, and maybe that can make it better. Artists get too caught up in, oh, this is mine, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is me. And you have to be humble. You have to swallow that, and you have to listen. And what are you gonna do? You gonna argue with Pharrell? You mean, what are you doing? This guy has made
Yeah.
all type hits. So sometimes you have to swallow that pride, man, and listen to these people who are trying to steer you the
Yep.
right direction. So who was your best collaboration that you felt like, man, this is really fun working with this guy. Everything is going really smoothly. I don't feel nervous. I love what's going on. Who do you feel made you feel the most comfortable in the studio?
I guess it would be Billy Smiley. So working with him,
Hmm.
um, you know, he's very much like, okay, well, let's make some music. Let's write some hits. And it's like, okay, let's do it. And then so
Let's do it.
yeah, I was like in and out of Nashville, and for
Mm-hmm.
a while recording the album. There's 9 tracks on the record, and then so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, um, you know, we'd get there and he'd be like, okay, cool, we're ready to go, and it's like, okay, what do you want to do today, or like what kind of, or what do you think? I think we should do this today, or let's work on this on
Mm-hmm.
these tracks today. Let's like smash out these vocals and let's come up with a we need to come up with like a really cool hook here and like da da da. So here's a guitar, like let's just play, let's just like whatever. Or you
Okay.
know, even a lot of the songs like I'd already had written, and I may have probably
Mm-hmm.
had maybe like I wouldn't have had like a verse, or um, maybe I'd written like one verse and it needed 2 more verses. So when we got to Nashville, we just like fleshed that out, and just like I love like being in the studio, and that's what I loved about working with Billy, just being able to like talk about the song and like the meaning of it. Because I feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
very much a storyteller in that way, where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I tend to write kind of general but specific, if that makes sense. There's all the irony.
Yeah.
But yes,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's tough to do.
So just kind of directing it, and I tend to like write with. I'm very visual, so I kind of imagine, you know, if this song was in a movie, you know, in a particular scene, like what would
Mm-hmm.
the scene be and that kind of thing, especially too when I'm like laying down vocals and having that emotion like with the vocals, with the lyrics that I'm singing, you know, it's like a whole story. So yeah.
Man, I love it. I love it. Now, we have a couple questions for the audience here, and we're gonna let you
Okay.
go here in a few moments. I know you're busy, but let's get it over from David. We have David here. What is your dream artist that you would want
Oh,
to work
hi
with?
David. Thank you. Great question. Um, I mean, I love Gwen Stefani. I've always like loved like No Doubt and
She's amazing.
that kind of
Yeah,
thing. So I guess yeah, like Gwen Stefani. I mean Paul McCartney is like the reason I picked up a guitar. So I would say so Paul
man.
McCartney because he's a genius songwriter. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I guess you know Gwen Stefani, Paul McCartney. Um, Even now, like you
Yeah,
know, even like Teddy Swims like on the up and comers. Like, why not? But I mean, I would
yeah,
love to write with Sia because I think Sia is a phenomenal songwriter.
man, that's amazing. And we just saw Paul McCartney at the Super Bowl this week. Still looking good. He's still doing his thing, man. He's getting up there, but he's still doing his thing out there. And he's always been a big influence to me. I've always loved the Beatles. They always had just their thinking, their music, their way they think through their music, and no doubt, the
Yeah,
unaging Gwen Stefani. I don't know. She never ages a day.
yeah,
I don't understand
she's
what's going
gorgeous.
on. She,
It's
but she looks
not
great
fair.
still. She looks great since the 90s, right? She looks great, man. So you've recorded at legendary studios like Sound Kitchen and Peter Frampton Studio. How does the atmosphere of these iconic spaces influence your
Whew.
creative process?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess it's the buzz. It adds to the buzz element, especially when you're walking through the halls, as
Mm,
I mentioned before, like just seeing all the records on the wall in the hallway, and um,
yeah.
yeah, just kind of hearing the stories about you know the people who've recorded in these spaces and stuff like that.
Mm,
So it definitely does add that element of excitement and kind of that level of like, okay, ooh, this is like significant that I'm here. It's an experience that I really want to
mhm.
remember. So it's kind of like being in the space and just like yeah, just going for it because it's that excitement there. So it definitely adds to it.
Yeah. And then that history, I know it gives me, just being in those places, it gives me goosebumps just to talk about the history, what people were going through when they wrote hit songs, what they were doing, and how the group came together. Those things are just always amazing to me because it's such a, if one thing didn't happen, maybe this hit record didn't come out. If we didn't happen to meet each other here and run into each
Right.
other in this situation, that hit song doesn't come out. Like a person was in the other room listening and came in and gave an idea, and that pushed the song a different direction, which made it a hit. Those things are just always amazing to me, man. And it's always little things like that that just
Yeah.
makes hit songs. And you never know what it's going to be. It's so interesting to hear about those things and listen to artists talk about the little things that change things that made a big difference in their career, in their songwriting abilities. It's just I love those things, and music is everything for me and for you also. Everyone wakes up, they have to hear that song in the morning to get them going, or that song at night to bring them down. That's the way I am. If I'm feeling evil, I'm feeling mad. At certain songs I listen to, I love some Al
Yeah.
Green that brings me back, and it takes away that anger feeling that you have. You're so angry, and sometimes a good song just brings you back
Yep.
to life. So, last question here for aspiring artists looking to build a
Mm,
lasting career. What advice would you give them based on your own
great
experience?
question. Um, I've I would say uh, just keep going, be true to yourself, um, learn as much as you can uh, about the industry,
Mm,
especially like the business side. Because like for me, um, I started writing from when I was like 7, 8 years old, and was like
mhm.
in studios, when I was a teenager, like kind of doing backing vocals for like
Uh,
other artists in Australia actually, and then even in New York, I was doing like backing vocals and shadowing different producers in different studios at like Avatar Studios
mhm.
and stuff like that. So I guess it's
Wow.
just educate yourself and like learn as much as you can. Can I share something actually? So I actually like,
Definitely.
now that this question kind of came up, because I actually wrote this book called Mastering Music Metadata and Distribution, just
Oh,
because like
okay.
for
Okay.
myself I was like I want to give back to artists, and like it was kind of like, well, what would I, you know, how like how would I do this if I didn't know anything, So
Yeah.
with artists kind
Uh-huh.
of like stepping out, like, and just kind of going for it, like just yeah, learn as much as you can, because I was like, how do I release my own music
Mhm.
if I don't have a record label? How do I be an independent
Right.
artist? How do I do this? How do I do that? I was always that annoying kid that would ask why and how and all that kind of stuff. So I guess
Yeah.
yeah, just educate yourself, just like learn as much as you can about the industry. If you're passionate about it, just yeah, stay true to yourself, stay true to everything you're doing, and you'll be successful.
We love it. We love it. So, Katie, tell us where we can get the book. Let us know where people can follow you. I know you got your website that people can follow and to keep up on what's going on with you. Just let us know how to keep in contact with you and what you have coming out. If you have any music coming out
Yeah, of
later or
course.
this year.
We can find the book on Amazon. There's also a
Okay.
direct download link on my website, which is katietunbridgenow.com. And yeah, you can find my music everywhere. There's a lot of information on my website about that, but hoping to do like a tour this year. So yeah, and then that'll be yeah,
Oh,
really
that'll be
exciting. So
exciting.
that'll be on my website, and yeah, Instagram, Katie Turnbridge one. Follow me, and yeah, if you want, and then yeah, YouTube, Katie Tunbridge on YouTube. So pretty easy to find.
Well, we're very excited to talk to you. We really appreciate you taking some time out to talk to Habari Entertainment and just spending a moment of talking about your career. It was very nice meeting you and just discussing what you have been through your life. So we'll try to keep in contact with you. And anything you have going on, please let us know because we'd love to do articles. We already did
Yeah,
one article on
thank
you.
you for
If you
that.
want to read that article, it's on habarientertainment.com. You can read up on her and find out more about Katie Tunbridge and everything she has going on. We really appreciate you, Katie. We're gonna let you go, and we'll be hearing from you
Absolutely. Well,
soon,
thank you so
hopefully.
much for having me. It's been a blessing. It's been so fun. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie. We
You
appreciate it. Have a
too.
great
Thank
rest of
you.
your day. We're gonna go and take a quick break, and we're gonna be right back with more Habari Live.
Hey y'all, it's Mama Soul's Fish and Chicken, Habari Entertainment sponsor. Let's go get it. Man, this Mama Soul's Fish and Chicken. I ain't never had a piece of fish that tastes so good. I'm not a shrimp person, but they fried shrimps. It's so good. It's so good. The dressing and the greens and the cornbread.
All
Let's
right,
go.
let's go ahead. You can take her out of there, bro.
Hey y'all, it's Mama Soul's Fish and Chicken, Habari Entertainment sponsor. Let's go get it. Man,
And now, this week's Habari News Weekly with Damon Dipling Ellison.
All right,
no
welcome back to
one,
the
but if you
show.
would like to sponsor us, please email us at info@habarientertainment.com.
Yes, 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 man. Hit us up if you want to be a sponsor. We definitely will create a package for you that works for you. And if you are watching on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, make sure to follow us. Hit that follow button so we can keep you updated with what's going on, and so you can learn. So, welcome to Habari News Weekly, brought to you by Habari Entertainment. I'm your host, Damon Dipling Ellison, as always, and I'm joined by Aisha Rowan. And we're going to bring you the latest updates and insightful discussions on the most pressing topics of the week. Trump. So first thing we want to do is get into some of the big stories that's been going on this week, man. It's been so much, it's so many stories that's been going on this week, man. But we have Trump talking to people from Gaza, talking about taking Gaza over, making Trump hotels and golf courses in Gaza. It's tough, man. It's tough. A lot of people here from Dearborn, Michigan, they were on TV this week talking about how they felt betrayed because they voted for Trump, and they thought that Kamala Harris and Biden was the worst, so they wanted to go with something different. I want to hit y'all with the womp womp because that might be the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. That you were so stupid that you didn't know that the Republican Party is 100% against anything that has to do with anybody from the Middle East,
Right.
except Israel. They don't care about anyone else. They will blow you up. You know who who started the war in the Middle East?
Trump.
Republicans. 9/11.
Yep.
Where do we go? Iraq. Instead of the places to the people, most of the people that was doing the bombing was from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
George Bush took us to Iraq. We just went on a 15-year spree of just killing a whole bunch of wrong people. And that's what the Republicans wanted to do. And you're going to put them like, people do not read history. Like, do you people read? Because if you read anything, you would know that the warmongering party is going to blow you up. That's their whole mission, is to blow you up. And they're going to do whatever they got to do. Trump doesn't care about the Palestinians. He only cares about Israel. And he's going to do whatever he has to do to make sure that Israel is successful and get whatever they want.
Didn't he say that he was going to take over Gaza and he was going to make it like the Riviera?
Yeah, he said it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be, I don't want to make it cute or anything like that. It's going to be a Riviera.
And they're going to love it. But the Palestinians can't come back.
They can't come back.
But his press secretary, I forget her name, tried to walk it back. But we see what's going on. We understand what's going on, man. They're trying to move these people out of there. This is what Israel wants. This is what Trump wants. He's gonna go right with them. They can do no wrong. Just like Putin can do no wrong. There's nothing he can do that's wrong. Whatever he does, he's gonna roll with him. They've been talking about negotiating with the Russians and the Ukrainians to try to stop the war. But the crazy part is the Ukrainians are not, Zelensky is not invited to the negotiations.
Right.
How do you start negotiations without the country that's the other part of the war?
Right.
They're the ones that's been attacked. And then
you're going to do a negotiations and they're not even at the table.
Man. And then they've started negotiations off. And basically where they started is a losing prospect. You start by saying we're not going to, Ukraine can't get back the land that they already lost. You start by saying, oh, Ukraine can't join NATO. Well, these are the things that they're fighting about.
Right. And
you're immediately going to take away their negotiating power by taking away two of the things that they really, really want. Now, it's amazing that these people can just come out and just say this outwardly. No problem. But dude, this is what we all knew, that Ukraine was going to have a tough time when Trump get into office. They've been talking about taking the minerals from Ukraine and using those minerals as a way to pay for America coming to help them out. Zelensky has said out of his mouth that they're not going to do well without America. Now, the Republicans have been hollering for 4 years that they do not care about Ukraine, and they do not care about us sending dollars to Ukraine, because that's what they've been hollering about. Stop sending the money to Ukraine. Keep the money here. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to do that. The money should be staying here. But the people, they can't do it without us. They need our artillery. They need everything. They need money from us. They've been able to hold them off this long because of the money and some of the artillery and military supplies that we've been able to send to them. If that ends, Ukraine is done. But that's been a couple of the top stories this week. But let's get into some bigger stories. This segment here, we're going to talk about welcome back to the podcast, like always. Why is it taking so long? So we're going to talk about the rising inflation crisis, man, that's going on. One of the first things Trump said all through the 4 years is that day one, he was going to bring down inflation. It was so easy. It's so easy. He's going to do that on day one. That's what he said. It's so easy that he will do this on day one and he will get it done. But it's not looking like it's easy, man. It's not looking really easy. So he's the prices of eggs skyrocketing, prices of goods skyrocketing, homes, the prices of homes skyrocketing. First time home buyers, the lowest rank it's been in years.
Yep.
So it's tough, man. It's tough right now for everyone. And he's doing things like changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Like, how is that helping the economy? How is that helping inflation? He's doing things like getting rid of DEI. How the hell is that helping? How does that help me? It really doesn't. So, we're going to talk about inflation today, and go ahead and run it.
Yeah, let's go ahead. This week, we're going to dive into Donald Trump's chaotic economic policies,
Mm-hmm.
his latest outbursts, and what's driving our inflation higher. Even Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal is now questioning why or
Whether
what Trump's doing with his money. They really don't understand it. So they're wanting to really know what the hell you doing.
right, Trump's economic confusion and inflation is on the rise. It's been a wild week for former president. Well, he's a president. What are they talking about? On Tuesday, U.S. consumer price inflation unexpectedly rose to 3%.
Mm-hmm.
In response, Trump took to his platform True Social, posting that interest rates should be lowered and that this would go hand in hand with upcoming tariffs.
Yep. And the Wall Street Journal's editorial board was not having it. They hit back with a scathing piece titled, "Does Donald Trump understand money?"
No,
That's the answer. And their answer is a resounding no.
no.
The editorial explained how Trump's call for lower interest rates paired with the new tariffs could actually make inflation soar and hurt his own approval ratings.
I don't think he cares. He really doesn't. Meanwhile, American shoppers have pulled back on spending for the first time since August. Retail sales have dropped 0.9% in January, with specialty stores and auto dealers seeing the biggest hits. The slowdown is the sign that rising prices and economic uncertainty are starting to impact everyday Americans.
Yep. And, that's just another thing going into, Trump's trade wars, his tariff wars, right? His latest proposals are already causing economic concerns. So let's break it down.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Trump is actually planning. He's planning a 10% tariff on all imports from China, plus ending de minimis treatment for Chinese goods. He's proposing a 25% tariff on all imports from Mexico and Canada, excluding energy sources,
Mm-hmm.
and higher taxes on steel and aluminum imports, jumping from 10% to 25%.
Now, we know these policies are projected to shrink the U.S. economy, not grow the economy. This is going to hurt. It's going to cut long-term GDP growth and increase the cost for consumers.
Yep.
Tariffs on Canada and Mexico would reduce GDP by 0.3%, tariffs on China by 0.1%, and expanded steel and aluminum tariffs by 0.05% before considering any foreign retaliation.
And speaking of that retaliation, China said they're not going to sit back and take all these tariffs that Trump's adding on to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they've announced new tariffs on $21.2 billion worth of U.S. exports. That includes coal, liquefied natural gas, oil, agricultural machinery, and large motor vehicles. And these tariffs are set to go into effect, or they went into effect on February 10th.
Yep, they definitely put them on us, and they said they will continue to put more and more tariffs as Donald Trump puts tariffs on China.
Mm-hmm.
It's he's starting a trade war
Yep.
that it's going to hurt us. It hurt us the last time he did this. It's going to hurt us this time. I know a lot of people think that it doesn't make a big deal, but it definitely hurts when our prices go up. These companies are not going to swallow these prices. They're going to send the prices over to the consumer.
Yep. Like they do every time.
Every time. So it's going to hurt us in the long run. Now, a lot of people have been, applauding the tariffs, but the tariffs they're horrible, horrible idea, and especially when we're in the economic situation that we are in right now, when we were just trying to come out of economic turmoil. So, what's next? With inflation climbing, consumer spending slowing, and a potential trade war is escalating, Trump's economic strategies are already facing major scrutiny. If he continues down this path, American businesses and everyday shopper could feel the financial squeeze.
Yep. But, we'll keep you guys, we'll keep tracking of the story, and we'll let you know how everything unfolds. But stay tuned for Habari News and all of its Glorious updates.
Man, it's insane. I mean, we as Americans have, it's been a tough 4 or 5 years. I would say about 6 years, man. It's been tough, man. Um, since about 2000,
Mm.
2020, when things start getting really tough and rent starts skyrocketing, COVID, and and when Joe Biden was in there after Trump debacle of COVID, he came in and I think that he did a lot of things to try to get us back to normal. And now we're going to see the effects of bad management of government. Now I can say one thing about Biden. He did not remove the tariffs for Trump. So you have to put Biden in that same category with Trump because he left the tariffs there. So he thought that either he thought that he would look weak by removing them, or he thought it was a good idea to keep them in. But regardless of what, we have lost GDP over the last 4 or 5 years because of these stupid tariffs and this stupid trade war that's not getting anyone anywhere.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and switch it up, man. We're gonna talk about the viral moment of Elon Musk bringing his kid into the Oval Office. Elon Musk's son versus Trump, a viral moment. So, you know what? We didn't bring that video in.
I thought you uploaded them all last night.
No. Hey, it's a email with a couple of videos. Can you download them and upload them to the no subject? There they are. They both go. Which one is that one? All right, that's the wrong one, not that one. That's the one. We'll download it. Go ahead and download it.
Because you're going to need to add it in.
Yeah, just
Hit the download button.
The arrow.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the other one from Elon.
You could just hit the download, yeah.
That's fine. Then
go back to, yep.
And restream and go to design. You should be able to upload them there with that plus video clips. Yep. Mm-hmm. The second one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, when you get a chance, go ahead. I'm going to tell you when to cue it up. So now shift gears to a moment that had the internet buzzing. During a recent public appearance, Elon Musk's son stole the spotlight most unexpectedly. As Musk spoke to reporters, his son leaned in toward Trump and reportedly said, "You're not the president and you need to go away." He was right.
And for those of you that joke that Musk is acting like president,
yes, he is,
including Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, this moment felt eerily prophetic. Why you gotta be putting? No, I'm just playing. But also, it's hilarious. Imagine telling Trump to his own face that he's not president. The man still refuses to admit that he lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden.
Yeah, man, and we have the video, so let's go ahead and let it play, man. We're gonna show y'all what the son said.
Democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? To restore democracy.
Yeah, man, that's funny, man. He told this guy he's not the president and he needs to go away. This kid is smart.
He looks like he only like 4 or 5 years old.
Man, he's intelligent. He knows what's going on, man, because Trump does need to go away. And really, he's not the president because it looks like Musk is the president.
Yep.
And how weak Donald Trump looked just sitting there while Musk is sitting explaining why this country doesn't need a person or people that are making decisions. That's a bureaucracy, is what he said.
Right.
So what are you doing here?
Right.
We didn't elect you. He said the non-elected people making decisions on finances. That's you, dog. Get up out of here.
Right. And even Elon Musk's ex, Grimes, she chimed in on social media writing, he should not be in public like this, referring to their son. She added that, "I did not see this. Thank you for alerting me. But I'm glad he was polite."
And whatever, man. He should not have a kid in the Oval Office.
And that's what she's saying. Like, my child shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
You just put him in a photo op for what? He shouldn't have been there.
A lot of people said he was using them for protection. A lot of people said he used the kid to try to make himself look normal. Regardless, man, you don't do that. And then the way he came into the Oval Office dressed,
right?
He was dressed like just a bum. But that's what the tech bros do. They don't wear suits because they're billionaires. They don't have to do that.
Right.
They don't have to follow the rules of attire. They do what they want to. Yeah. And that is the craziest part to me. And Trump looked so weak over there because he was just only thing he was doing is just sitting there while Elon Musk ran his mouth and was pretty much talking about
ran
nothing.
The whole meeting.
Everything.
The whole press conference.
This dude is the president.
You sitting behind the Oval desk.
He was babysitting the kid while the kid digged in his nose.
Right.
He was babysitting. This is what y'all president that y'all vote for.
Y'all just hired grandpa to babysit Elon kid.
Dude, Trump looked ridiculous, man. Meanwhile, the internet couldn't stop talking about Musk's outfit. While Trump looked visibly weak, Musk showed up in a typical tech bro uniform, t-shirt, no suit, no tie.
Yep.
But somehow still looked like the one in charge. The contrast was striking.
You're right. It really was striking. But let's go ahead and move into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders warns
upload the other video
against Trump's power grab. Today, we're going to talk about Bernie Sanders' latest warning about Donald Trump, his plan to consolidate power, including his push to eliminate the Department of Education and take more control over the nation's institutions like the Kennedy Center.
It's crazy, man. We Bernie Sanders, he's always been one to talk about the oligarchs, the rich taking all the power. He's always talked about raising taxes on the rich, doing things to make sure the rich are paying their fair share. But the Republicans don't want that. They're trying to push through $4 trillion of tax cuts now, as Doge goes through and fires normal everyday people. They're trying to push in their tax breaks, which is going to be another $4 trillion that America is going to lose. That's how much it's going to cost us. And these people are excited to see everyday people lose their job, making $60,000 or $70,000 a year. They're excited to see all these people get fired and all these people in Africa and all these places not get food. They're celebrating that while they're trying to make these cuts for they can put in their tax cuts for them. Elon Musk, he's getting contracts for making bulletproof Teslas. He has a conflict of interest. He has government contracts. He should not be able to work for the government.
Right.
The government is already paying you. So there's no way that you should be able to look into other entities of the government and see what they're doing wrong to put money into your own pocket. This is all incorrect, man. What they're doing is it's a money grab. It's a power grab. This dude already has $1 trillion. We're really gonna let this dude make more money while he's in there fixing things so things can go his way. It comes out that the places that he is really focusing on, they had reports, and they were looking into Elon Musk. They were looking into X. So he's going after the places in the government that was coming after him.
Yep.
And we're okay with this. We're going to let this guy go ahead and do what he wants to in our government. He was not elected. Now, if the Democrats were doing this, the Republicans would be losing their minds. But because it's okay, because it's them. And they're trying to give Elon the power to be a king. Because if they wanted to put something into Congress, put something into the budget, you pass a law. You pass a budget. You pass things that get things done in Congress. Right. That's how you put things in place. These cats are just doing executive orders. They just running, taking out people, whoever they want to, firing everybody, not following the rule of law. Congress is not gonna do a thing because it's in power. The Republicans have the power. The Democrats look really weak right now. They're just scattering around trying to make posts, but they're not making it. They're not doing anything. The Republicans aren't listening to them. So this is crazy. We're going to continue talking about Bernie Sanders' latest warning about Donald Trump's plan to consolidate power, including his push to eliminate the Department of Education and take more control over national institutions like the Kennedy Center. Trump plans to dismantle the Department of Education. During a recent speech, Senator Bernie Sanders expressed deep concerns about Trump's proposal to abolish the Department of Education. This move, if enacted, would shift critical responsibility to individual states, raising questions about equal access to education, federal funding, and national standards.
Yep. And critics are arguing that eliminating the Department of Education could harm lower income communities, disrupt student loan programs, and lead to inconsistent education policies across the country. Sanders has made it very clear. This is about centralizing power and weakening federal oversight over crucial public services.
Yeah, man. Trump's influence over the Kennedy Center, another major concern. Sanders highlighted this in Trump growing control over key national institutions, including the Kennedy Center. As the Kennedy Center's leadership comes under political pressure, there are fears that its artistic and cultural independence could be at risk.
Yeah, several people from the Kennedy Center have already resigned.
Mhm.
Several prominent people in the organization have already resigned due to Trump saying, well, I'm the chairman. He declared that he's the chairman. He's the chairman.
Insane.
And, Sanders also warned that this is part of a larger pattern. Trump's push for more centralized power, few checks and balances, and an administration that operates for the benefit of the wealthy elite rather than for the American people, for the public as a whole.
What Sanders was saying now, let's hear directly from Bernie Sanders, and let's hear him talking about some of the problems that he's seeing with Donald Trump moving to end the Department of Education, and he's moving towards an oligarchy, authoritarianism, and kleptocracy under Trump's leadership. Let's check out the video.
Abolish the Department of Education.
You know, what is going on in this country, not only with education, but with other institutions, is the president is operating in a very authoritarian, illegal, and unconstitutional way. If they want changes in the Department of Education, they want to abolish the Department of Education, fine, come to Congress. That is the process. That is what our Constitution is about. You know, we have three separate branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. We are not and cannot and must not move to all power in one branch.
Senator, does that mean you're worried about oversight for something like the Robert F. here? Like, once he's confirmed, are you concerned that you won't have that?
I am concerned that there is a real look. It is a little bit weird, just a little bit weird, that the President of the United States is now head of the Kennedy Center. You know, my the person in America think that's a little bit strange. You know, we have other people who know a little bit about culture, maybe even more than the President. But what is clearly happening in this country right now, every single day, with Musk, with President Trump, is more and more power going to fewer and fewer people, and often people who have huge amounts of money.
Can you tell me about your decision to co-sponsor Kane's?
Bernie Sanders' remarks serve as a strong warning here that Trump's policies aren't just about governance. They're about reshaping America's power structure to benefit the select few.
And that's something voters will have to consider heading into when we get into a couple years when we have Congress,
the next election. So you got about 2.5 years before you start seeing a
yeah, man. I mean the power that these people have now, man.
It's ridiculous.
They're just making decisions to destroy the institutions that's been in place for decades.
Right.
The Department of Education has been there since 1979. I'm not saying that the Department of Education is perfect, and I'm not saying that. if you wanted to do things to make it better, I think most people would be okay with that. But to come out and just say we're going to end the Department of Education is crazy.
Right.
Now, a lot of people don't understand the Department of Education. It helps out with a lot of different things, especially when it comes to special education, when it comes to funding for special needs kids, when it comes to funding for foods, when it comes to funding for schools that are low income areas. This is where the federal government step in. Now, what they do to try to trick you is they try to say, "Oh, we're going to send it back to the states." But if you know how this thing works, the states are always in charge. The federal government is just in case there are things that the states may need, or there's things that's happening in the states that is unfair to minorities or special needs people,
Right.
or women, or things that in that nature. That's when the federal government steps in. Now, we just left it up to the states for everything. These states are going to have problems paying for these things. They already have problems paying for PE, which has been taken out of a lot of classes. Art has been removed. So you
driver's ed has been removed.
Driver's ed has been removed. It's so many things that's been removed from the curriculum and from the schools programs because they cannot afford anything. Now, you're going to tell me that we're going to take away funding from the federal government and that's going to make things better? How can you think this way? Now, if you want to get rid of fraud, if you want to get rid of people who are ripping off education department, that's cool. But that's not what they're doing, man. They're going around, they're trying to find things that they can erase so they can get a homeboys a tax break. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to get their rich homies a tax break. Just like last time. All the money that all these people are getting and put in their pockets, the Elons. That's why all these people are breaking their necks to be at his inauguration, for they can get some money too. It's a money grab. And for anybody to think that all these rich people are behind Trump because they care about poor people, you have been fooled.
Yep.
They don't care about poor people. If they did, this is the last thing that they would be doing. Taking away U.S. aid, taking away Department of Education. These are things that are put in place to help the poor. It shows you they don't care. They're going to eliminate everything they can for the poor just to get a homies a break. Man, and you know, we're going to keep continuing to cover these things and make sure that you guys are up on the critical developments that goes through. And, you know, make sure to check with Habari on HabariEntertainment.com and check with our podcast because we're going to keep you updated on what these guys are doing and how they're taking away our money.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and roll News Weekly. Or did we already do that?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Moving on. This week, a measles outbreak in West Texas has doubled to 48 cases, marking the state's worst in nearly 30 years. The outbreak primarily affects unvaccinated or unknown status individuals, mostly children and teens in rural and close-knit minute communities. Minute. Among the 48 cases, 13 people have been hospitalized, and health officials are emphasizing that vaccine hesitancy is due to personal choice rather than religious beliefs. So now efforts are underway to increase screenings, vaccinations, and education in these affected areas. The affected areas include Gaines County, and it's also spread to Lynn, Terry, and Yoakum counties near the New Mexico border.
Yeah, man, this is
vaccine hesitancy.
Yeah.
Personal choice.
Yeah, man.
Over religious beliefs. I'm not getting my kid vaccinated. Whatever your reason is, you're retarded. You're dumb.
And hey, look, I don't want to call anybody dumb and retarded. We're not going to do that. But
you got the same vaccines and you're going to refuse your kid the vaccine?
That's what people do. People think they know more than doctors. People think that the doctors are trying to kill them. That's how a lot of people think.
And ain't not one of them have gone to school.
It's tough,
for
man.
medical school.
It's tough, and a lot of people believe this. A lot of people are with it.
A
But
vaccine is just a preventative measure. You go to your doctor and get a cancer screening to ensure you don't have cancer. Right?
I mean, vaccines, you can't say them. It's not like that. It's just, it's supposed to be the thing about that. I like this to think about it, man. Is
it's to prevent something from being worse than what it would be
right,
if you didn't have it.
To be a part of a group that this is a civil group. This is a place where everybody gets together. You want to live your life. You have to have a certain amount of things that you have to do just to make sure that everyone is okay when we're all living on in this situation like this. If you feel as though you don't have to take the vaccinations, if you feel as though that they're trying to kill you, but everybody else is taking these vaccinations to make sure that these things are not spreading, and you feel as though you don't have to do your part, that's kind of on you, man.
And
we
that's
all
why
have to do our
and that's the reason why they were saying that the vaccine rates have dropped among children, because parents aren't getting their children vaccinated.
But they don't believe in it anymore.
So it's like you're gonna do something that could potentially prevent your child from having a severe adverse reaction to getting a disease. A severe adverse reaction is now your child is hospitalized because you failed to vaccinate your child for something that was completely preventable, as experts are saying.
Yeah, but they don't.
Completely preventable.
They don't believe. What is TikTok talking about? Anyway, yeah, man. It's kind of crazy. I mean, we have now RFK in the House. He's the human health secretary now, and he's a big anti-vax person. A lot of people are against vaccinations nowadays. It's the new thing to do. A study came out that it caused autism, and people just ran with it. It's crazy that we can do studies proving positive outcomes for vaccinations. We won't listen to that.
We only listen to the misinformation.
One guy come out and say, hey, it causes autism, and we listen to him and have been listening to him for decades, for about 20 years. I think his study came out in like 99, and everybody ran with that. They're all okay with that. But when doctors tell you that we have how we have moved the country forward because of vaccinations, and you hear Mitch McConnell, he had polio when he was a little kid. So he talks about these things because he has experience with them. He did not vote for RFK because he felt like this guy is going to put our community in a situation we're not going to be able to get out of. Now, so many people, you know more than doctors. I don't want to call you dumb. I don't want to call you. You can make your own decision.
According to autismspeaks.org.
Yeah.
There is no connection between vaccines and autism.
They don't care.
Although autism is often diagnosed around the same time children do receive their routine vaccinations, which has led to the concern about connection. But decades of scientific research has confirmed that vaccines, in fact, do not cause autism.
They don't care. They're going to believe what they want to. It doesn't matter what study that comes out that shows the connection isn't there. It's just tough, man. We know people that don't believe in the vaccines. I don't want to disrespect them, but man, it's a tough situation you get put in. It's tough.
As a parent who has a child that does need to receive routine vaccinations, right?
Right.
Each time there this comes up, the doctor says, your child may experience these symptoms of this vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Be on the lookout for XYZ, as those are the side effects. However, it is just letting us know that this is starting to make its way through the body.
Right.
It's working in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, in case if your child does come in contact with this particular disease, this vaccine is going to help minimize the effects of the actual disease.
Yeah, that's what vaccines do. So yes.
But people are like, well, I give my kid the flu shot, now my kid got the flu. That's what it's supposed to do.
It's the flu.
It's giving your child the
giving
flu,
the flu.
So that way, next time when your body comes in contact with that contaminant, your
Mm-hmm.
body knows what to do and how to fight it off.
Well, you got to understand that a lot of people don't understand that your body has to build up
Immunity
to be able to fight against these things. And by introducing these things to your body's red blood cells, white blood cells, I forget which one, fights these things off. So you have to take these vaccinations for your body can get stronger. You know, you got these people out here who don't want any diseases. They trying their best to make sure that they're clean. They're using what is that wipe stuff? I forget. To wipe your hands, the sanitizer, the sanitizers,
hand sanitizer.
They're using all the sanitizers and everything. And then when they do get sick, they can't fight anything off because their immune system is not strong.
You're constantly wiping the germs away.
Right.
You're constantly washing it off.
You need germs. You need them.
Just like when you say, oh, it's okay, let the baby play in the dirt. Let the baby put the dirty hands in their mouth. It builds their immune system.
Yeah, man.
That's the same thing a vaccine does.
You got to have a built up immune system. You can't just you cannot. You have to go through these things. So people think that, oh man, I just stay clean up. Man, your body is going to be introduced to something that it's not going to be able to fight off. So I don't know what's wrong with people nowadays, man. Why everybody think that the doctors don't know what they're talking about. You know, it's tough. But with diseases that have been pretty much cured, coming back like mumps and measles.
Right, because there's no longer a 95% efficiency across the board. 95% of the population is no longer vaccinated.
It has to be a certain percentage of people vaccinated for the disease to stay out of society.
Exactly.
And like I said, man, it's a part of being a part of society to take these things. And what's going to happen is these rules are going to get more and more strict.
Yep.
Where you're not going to be able to go to school, you're not going to be able to go to jobs, you're not going to be able to do any of these things in public
without
if you don't have these vaccinations. Because we do not want to see the measles come back. We do not want to see polio come back. Do you know how many people were dying from these things?
Right.
You have a fear of autism, so you feel as though you don't have to take things, but you're not worried about the thousands of disease that could come from not taking these vaccinations. Now that's crazy.
Now, what's going to happen if you are someone who is against vaccines and your child or you come in contact with this disease and now you're hospitalized, you're on the verge of death, and you're like, oh, well, I could have got a vaccine and this would have been preventable? I could have prevented this?
Well, people not going to do that. They're not going to look at themselves and say, hey, I did something wrong. It's going to be somebody else's fault, like always. You know, people don't do anything wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. Now, like I said, man, I understand people being scared of medicine. I get it. I understand that doctors do make mistakes. They're not perfect. But bro, we got to take these vaccinations, man. Seeing Trump making decisions, talking about any school that has any COVID mandates won't receive federal dollars.
Right.
Using the money.
So now he's taking funding away from your child's learning because you don't want to vaccinate the kid.
Right.
Your child cannot get a proper education because you failed to vaccinate your child.
Do you think that the people that died of COVID, don't you think if they had a chance to get that vaccination, they could be still here?
Right.
It's the people that didn't get real sick, or the people that think, hey, you could fight it off. Like, some people are dying. Do you understand that some people immune systems can't handle this?
Right.
Like, why don't y'all care about some people? Older people who are dying. You guys are going around spreading diseases everywhere. You don't care. Oh, take some lemon. Oh, you should be like, dude, holy crap. You don't need these vaccinations. They just take some Robitussin and or something. Like, dog. Some people can't. Immune system is not like yours. I know you're normal and you're good.
And then there's
but some people
who
can't
are
handle it.
autoimmune,
Right?
Who can't fight off any disease if they get sick.
Man, and that's what I'm saying. Society has to think about other people. You can't just be caught up in
and
yourself.
Selfish.
Just because I'm okay. Fuck him. Fuck that guy. Fuck my neighbor. I'm okay.
It didn't affect me.
I'm good. I told you what to do. I told you I'll be good. Like, dude, you're a selfish piece of shit. You're selfish. Like I said, man, to me, this is being a part of society, being part of a community. These are the things that you have to do for this community can keep going. You know how much disease used to wipe out communities back in the day?
Yep.
Before we had these vaccinations? The whole villages would be gone because of disease. Everybody just wiped out. You know how much that used to happen before we had modern medicine? This was normal to lose whole villages because people caught a disease. Everybody's dead. And now somebody has a way to make sure that people may live. And we're like, no, hell no. Like, this is crazy that we're going against modern medicine and science. We have so much information in front of our hands nowadays, and we're picking to say this information is crap and just going away from it and just go willy-nilly. What did my homeboy say? He said, don't take it. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing. And then we got people in charge like Trump and the Republicans who straight up is using this shit to keep their power.
Yep. And speaking of
because
Trump,
you know what he did? He went and got that fucking shot.
Yeah, he did.
He got COVID shot.
Yeah, he did.
But he's telling all you motherfuckers, oh, don't put it in there. Oh, don't
get
do
the
this.
COVID vaccine.
Don't get the shot.
But he was right there on TV giving up his arm.
And best believe all the rest of them motherfuckers got their shot too. But they going to lead you to believe it's okay. They going to lead you to believe that don't do it because why? Because culturally is so many people on the right that's against it.
Yep.
So that's that. Oh, well, they're against it. Well, I'm going to be with my people and show them. But really and truly, this dude behind closed doors got the shot before you did. He got the shot as soon as it was available. One of the first people in the door. And y'all listening to him while he's telling you don't take it. It's crazy. But a lot of people are falling for this bull. You got another one, right?
Yeah, we got another one. Speaking of Trump, before we move into the hot mess. Trump is accelerating layoffs across federal agencies as part of a broader effort to reduce the government workforce. Thousands of employees, particularly probationary workers,
move the camera, bro,
have already been terminated at agencies including the Pentagon, EPA, the USDA, the CDC, HUD, and the CFPB. And the Department of Housing and Urban Development aims to cut up to 50% of its staff, while the Department of Defense is targeting an 8% budget reduction. The Environmental Protection Agency and the USDA have dismissed hundreds of probationary workers without notice. And the CDC and Prevention has cut 10% of its workforce. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has also seen significant layoffs, prompting legal challenges from its employee union. But federal officials state that these cuts align with Trump's administration's goals of streamlining government operations through although critics are arguing that they are weakening essential services.
They are weakening services. And they also are breaking the law by going through and just destroying all of these programs or agencies. The Trump administration has seen one after another of its most aggressive acts frozen by judges. At least for now, the executive order ending birthright citizenship frozen. The Office of Management and Budget Spending freeze, rescinded, and frozen. Well, I think the judge released that one. He's going to let them go ahead and do that. He did say, I think yesterday, that they can go ahead and start firing people on that. If I'm not mistaken, on that one. The rescinded and frozen, transferring transgender female prisoners to male-only prisons, frozen. The Department of Government Efficiency's access to the Treasury payment system, frozen. The buyout of federal workers, this the one that was okay. The buyout of federal workers was okay.
Mm-hmm.
That freeze has been rescinded. The destruction of USAID is also frozen. All these things that he just decided to do, judges have put a hold on them. He is not going through the right channels to get these things done. Congress is supposed to make these decisions. He's not supposed to just be able to end these things, freeze things that happened and were decided before he got into office. That's not how it works. All of this money was already allocated. He can't just take it away.
Mm-hmm.
So judges, which is the third part of the judicial branch, branches of government, this legislation, they are a part of it. That means that they make decisions, and they decided that all of these things that Trump is trying to do is frozen. So it's insane to me to see these people act like they're doing a good job when all of these legislative executive orders have been put on hold by the judges.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trump and them do not know what the hell they are doing. They do not know how to govern, and this is not how you govern. You cannot govern by doing executive orders every other day, well, every day. You have to get Congress together, and you guys have to create a plan that makes sure that you are doing everything necessary to hit the legalities, that you are being legal, that you are not making illegal decisions. I mean, how cruel it is to fire all these people who've been working
for years.
And most of them are veterans. So many people don't care about these people because they work for the government. Just because you work for the government don't make you a worse person, you idiots.
Right.
They just trying to feed their family like anybody else. That's just been something that I've been talking about with people for years. Oh, these people that work for they're just normal people, dog.
Normal people.
What do you think they are? They're just people who are trying to feed their family. They have problems. Not all these people are fired. How they going to pay their rent? How is this helping the economy by firing all these people? You're not worried about the budget because, like I said, $4 trillion in tax cuts for your homeboys. How are you going to offset that? Oh, we're going to sit around and fire everybody, get rid of everything, and hopefully that does it. That's not going to do it, obviously. We're still struggling, and we still have problems with this crazy inflation that's not going away. So, man, as a person who's sick of paying all these high rents and high prices, man, we have to do something, man. This is not working what Trump is doing right now. And a normal person, a normal everyday person is starting to suffer more and more and more. All right, let's do the Hollywood hot mess real fast here. I don't think we have a video. We just Hollywood hot mess. Here it comes.
And then we got sports.
Yep.
And comic books.
We'll be out of here. Yep.
This week, my hot mess is Kanye. Let's just go ahead and get it. Just put it on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because this week, not only were reports that Kanye and Bianca are divorcing, just days after her controversial appearance at the Grammys.
Yeah.
The couple who married in December of 2022 have allegedly agreed on a $5 million settlement for censoring. She is currently staying in their $35 million home while West's whereabouts remain uncertain. The split does follow Bianca's Grammys red carpet stunt where she was instructed by West to drop her fur coat, exposing herself publicly. Many have criticized that the act as controlling and exploitative. West later defended the stunt, calling it art and asserting his authority over Bianca. And amid the backlash, West launched an anti-Semitic tirade online, professing admiration for Hitler, using Nazi imagery in a Super Bowl ad, which led to bans from social media platforms and Shopify shutting down his clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
West also faced sexual misconduct allegations from former employees, including a lawsuit filed by a former employee, a former ex-assistant, Lauren Piscota,
Mm-hmm.
who accused him of drugging and assaulting her. And then insiders are also speculating that the Grammy stunt was an attempt to distract from his actual legal issues.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the former employee, right? This former employee is, let's just let it be known that this former employee is Jewish. And they're alleging that Kanye harassed and bullied her with anti-Semitic remarks while she worked at Yeezy.
Mm.
According to the lawsuit, West repeatedly made offensive statements, including sending her personal text messages and other employees.
Mm.
The text message read, "Welcome to the first day of working for Hitler.
Wow.
And I'm claiming I am a Nazi."
Wow.
The woman said that he also sent her text messages like "Hail Hitler," among other derogatory insults. She's further alleging that after reporting his behavior to her manager,
Mm-hmm.
she was immediately fired.
Right.
So the lawsuit is seeking damages, citing a hostile work environment and wrongful termination. Given the information that is in the suit, if you go back and you look at the actual documents,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that this is actually in the actual court lawsuit documents,
Right.
this is definitely a hostile work environment. Being fired after reporting harassment to a manager and you get fired for it,
Man, we don't know that.
wrongful termination.
We don't know that. We don't know that. This is just her side.
I
We
know
don't
it's
know
just
for sure.
allegedly. However,
Right.
Going based off of just the information that we do have,
But we can't do that though. You know, we
it
can't
is
do
looking like this is what he did. This is what he said.
that. Okay, it's allegedly. We do not know that. We will see what happens through the case, but definitely, her accusations are coming at a time when he is said that he's Hitler.
Yep.
He has said a lot of damning things, but we will see what the judge's outcome will be. This is just allegedly right now because it is her suit from her side. So
Yeah, because at this point, Kanye has not filed his answer to the lawsuit. So that is the portion that we are currently waiting on. What is his answer going to be when he files his answer for the lawsuit? So
yes,
that's the next portion we're just waiting on. But like I said, from her standpoint, this is how she feels is what happened to her.
Most definitely. And then Kanye and Bianca breaking up. Dude, you're gonna have to start looking at yourself, man.
I mean,
this your marriage with
Kim Kardashian.
Kim went to trash. Now you with her.
People were saying the same thing too with her, with their marriage.
Yeah,
that he was controlling and forcing her to dress and act a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And once he started being anti-Semitic, she was just like, nah, I can't be with you right there, bro.
Hey,
this is just over for us.
I don't know, man. It's just he's been acting really weird for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and I'm definitely not a fan anymore. I had to leave Kanye alone, man. And anybody that's taking up for Kanye, you may want to look in the mirror, man, because this dude has issues, and there's no taking up for the hate and vitriol that he is spreading online.
Exactly, and Kanye and Bianca, they did get married.
Go ahead, switch the camera, bro.
1 week after the divorce between him and Kim was finalized.
1 week.
One
That's,
week.
That's not enough time for him to get his mind together over the last fucking relationship he was in.
Exactly.
And to jump right into a relationship after you were married and had switch the cameras, married and had several kids, at least three kids, and then you're gonna he didn't have time to even think about what was wrong in the last relationship.
Exactly. And that kind of, you get married a week later after your divorce is final, that to me signals you must have been doing something with this girl.
What, did you know this girl the whole time?
The whole time. Right, exactly.
A week later you marrying her, that's kind of
Exactly.
crazy. You know her well enough to make the decision to marry her after a week.
After a week.
So that means you wasn't putting your full everything into the relationship with Kim in the first place.
Yep.
So you look bad, man. Dude just look bad in every way, man.
He does.
I just wish dude would go away. I'm so sick of Kanye. I'm just done.
And him and Kim have 4 children.
4 kids. 4 kids, man. And you're gonna jump into a marriage with some other lady in a week instead of going to making sure that your kids are good. It just shows you how selfish some of these people are, man. And Kanye is a very, very, very selfish person. His hate, because he hate Jews,
Yep.
He think he can go off and say anything he wants to. Nah, man. You can hate. Why don't you just hate the people that you hate directly? Why do you have to put everyone into this? Never will understand it. All right, man. Let's do. You want to talk about? Let's go into sports before we could talk about this Super Bowl real fast.
Habari Sports.
Welcome to Habari Sports, your go-to for all things basketball and beyond. I'm Damon Dipling Ellison, and we've got some topics today to dive in. First, we want to talk about the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar halftime show, and how MAGA heads were exploding all across the country.
Woo. Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick's Super Bowl performance, it sparked outrage.
Good. Fuck him.
Especially among right-wing commentators who accused it of promoting Black nationalism.
Wow.
And being a response to Trump's popularity among Black voters.
That didn't make any sense when Matt Gaetz said that. That was maybe the dumbest comment I ever heard in my life. Stupid.
Mad. Despite the performance featuring strong American flag imagery and appearances by Samuel L. Jackson, Serena Williams, and SZA, conservatives like Matt Gaetz and Benny Johnson attacked it as pagan and regime propaganda. But in reality, Lamar delivered a high-energy, performance that celebrated Black American culture.
Yeah.
But it's clashed with MAGA's narrow vision of America.
What America is.
Continuing a pattern of conservative backlash against Black artists at major events.
Anything that has Black people on it, they hate it.
I couldn't understand what he was saying. But you can understand.
Dude,
anybody in rock and roll?
I don't really care about them not understanding what he was saying because, Kendrick does have a different type of rap style. He's different. I understand that. If they never listen to his music, I get it. But my point is to try to act like it was racist. There was even people talking about, there was no white people on the stage. Like, are you fucking kidding me? The people who's hollering DEI everywhere, now you're talking about
there's no white people on stage.
It should have been some white people out there. What's going on? Are you kidding me? We can't even get a job without being called DEI because there's one Black person out there.
Right.
Now, you just pandering, putting that Black person out there. But now we were supposed to pander and put a white person out there to make you feel better?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
We were supposed to make sure you felt included when you don't include us on nothing?
Right. How many Super Bowls have been white people? How many Super Bowl have had all white people performing? We don't care. Black people don't care. But anytime it's us, everybody's flipping out. Everybody's mad. Everybody's pissed. Dude, the fact that they came out with an American flag, that should have been patriotic. You would think, oh, look, that's patriotic. No, because it was black men that was dancing. They don't want to see it.
Right.
Dude, they were so mad all week. Oh, this is the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life. All of this, all you seen, all these overage old fucks sitting around talking about how they didn't like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl wasn't for you. The kids loved it.
Kids loved it.
They're not aiming at you anymore. You're washed up and old. They don't care
want
about
you, baby boomers.
Man, they are going after the younger kids. They're not going after old farts who want to see when they had Tom Petty up there. Did people get mad?
Nope.
Nobody cared.
They said that was one of the best performances they ever seen in their life.
They loved it. Did black people get mad? Did we get outraged because Tom Petty was up there with his band that's white? Nobody cared.
Nobody.
We didn't give a fuck. Who cares? Tom Petty got some decent songs. It's cool. Nobody cares. The people who didn't know Tom Petty, they were just like, who the fuck's Tom Petty? I don't know. Justin Timberlake was up there. Did anybody
he was
get
up there
mad?
in 2018.
We didn't
Nobody
get fucking
got
mad. We didn't care.
Did anybody care when Lady Gaga played the Super Bowl halftime performance?
Man. And the thing is, people say,
Or what about Coldplay?
Well, I like the Dr. Dre and 50 Cent. I like that. Well, the reason why you like that is because when you was a teenager,
that's the music you were listening to.
That's the music that was popular. Now, over the last 30 years, you've turned into a MAGA cultist, and you still have a affinity and a connection to the music you listened to when you were a kid. You know, you were half-ass cool when you was a kid. If the kid that you knew when you were in high school saw you and the shit that you're on now, he probably wouldn't like you at all.
Your younger self wouldn't like you now.
He would hate your guts. You listen to Snoop Dogg and NWA. You liked all that music, and now
all of a sudden,
rapper come on the stage, you losing your fucking mind. You hate him. You've changed. You're not the same person that you were. You've gotten old. Now, only thing you care about is woke. Anytime you see a black person, woke, this woke agenda, go woke, go broke. I'm so sick of y'all saying this shit.
But another thing that they were saying too was that
nerves.
There was no dancing and singing, and people weren't participating in the Super Bowl performance.
Some were, some wasn't. That's the way it's gonna be. Some people liked it, some people didn't. It's the way every Super Bowl is.
Nobody.
I've never seen everyone happy at a Super Bowl.
Right.
There's always somebody who's pissed off.
Why did Bruce Springsteen have to play in the Super Bowl halftime?
Yeah, I don't know any Bruce fucking Springsteen songs. I've always hated this dude. Do you think I care?
Exactly.
I don't want to born in the USA. Nobody would hear that fucking shit. This shit. Fuck out of here. Trash.
They wanted to hear it.
You know what I mean? But when y'all celebrating, y'all like that shit. That's cool. Every Super Bowl is for a certain person.
Yep.
They hire that person, and we know the fans of that person is going to be happy.
Yep.
But maybe the people who don't follow him, they may not know him. But that's fine. They on there talking about nobody knows who Kendrick Lamar is. We don't even know who this dude won 20 Grammys. A lot of people know who he is.
Yep.
He sold 18 million records. He has the most followers on Spotify of any rapper ever. But you're going to tell me nobody knows who this guy is? Like, these are the things that they say is just absolute garbage.
More people watched. I think they said it was
133 million.
0.5 million people watched Kendrick Lamar, and only 133.4 million watched Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson was that everybody would say that was one of the better shows ever. I love Prince.
In 2007 when he did, that was
a
great one.
Definitely. But you can't always get just pop music.
Right.
Sometimes you have to go outside of the box, and doing hip hop rap was dope, man. It was dope. I loved it. And for all the black people who were complaining about the show that wasn't good enough and it wasn't popping enough and enough booties bouncing and it wasn't enough explosions for you. I don't know, man. You know,
I just think that those people, like you were saying, the booty popping and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that these people were fully dressed. They weren't half dressed, half naked, twerking their booties everywhere.
Right. That they didn't like that. They didn't like that.
Black people were actually able to do something and be fully clothed and still put on a good performance.
I don't know, man. It's a lot of people were arguing about it. Some people were saying it was bull that people were trying to point out the messaging that he was trying to portray. Some people don't care about the messaging. That's just they don't care if they missed it. They don't care they didn't like the show.
Yep.
That's how some people are. It doesn't matter the power that he was bringing to black people. He doesn't matter the cultural explosion that this guy was putting out there.
Yep.
As all the videos have went on TikTok and all the kids are trying to do his show. That doesn't matter to them. They hated it. And they went upside. I saw this dude. He was so adamant about how much he hated it.
Mm-hmm.
He was a black dude. I hated it. It was so bad. I don't care about what he was trying to say. Like, dog, boy, you man. I'm not gonna call you any names, man, but it's just weird that a moment like this, that other black people couldn't feel proud for this man and what he was doing. You know, I understand the Drake fans because they're gonna hate on it regardless because they love Drake, and whatever Kendrick do, they're gonna hate on it because they love Drake.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say this: I've never been a Drake fan, and I've always known that Drake was what he is. And for some people to be surprised that this came to him because Drake tried to play both sides of the street, I'm not surprised. You're not going to play hard and hood and then be the soft R&B guy at the same time and think that things is not going to collapse on you because you're not hard and hood. You're the R&B guy. Stay in your lane. But he didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was okay. They laughed it off when Meek Mill was murdered by Drake. But now he didn't got his ass whooped, and the Drake fans don't even want to admit it, and it's just crap.
And Drake is the one that started the whole beef in the first place. And then gets mad that somebody else is better than you at the same shit you just tried to do.
That's real. Let's go on, man. I'm gonna go on before we can on this Habari Sports. The Suns. Let's talk about them for a minute, man. Our point guard situation is a disaster. To say the Phoenix Suns are limping into the All-Star break is an understatement of epic proportions. This is the team with the highest payroll in NBA history. And we aren't even in the playoffs. Man, like I said, man, Kevin Durant, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with bro. But bro is, man, I don't know, man. We are 26 and 28, a staggering contrast to the sky-high expectations that was supposed to be for the Suns. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about our point guard situation because it's been terrible, a disaster. The Suns decided to add 2 point guards this offseason, both supposedly known for their ball security. Neither one of them doing a great job. Tyus Jones, and yeah, he's having a career year, but all for the wrong reasons. Highest turnover rate of his career, a complete misfire. The other, Monte Morris, who at this point is more of a myth than a player because we barely see him on the floor. So that point guard fix is still unresolved. Just like everything else with the Suns this year, it's a miss. It's unfathomable that this keeps happening. With 2 of the most elite scorers in the league, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, every opportunity to build something great around them, it falls apart. Is it Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? Because it's starting to me, it's starting to seem like it's something with their leadership. Mm-hmm. It's something with the way they're trying to bring the team together. They can't. Maybe Booker and Durant aren't good leaders. I don't know what's going on, man. But it doesn't seem like these guys are doing anything to put wins on the board. Some people say it's just Arizona's luck. Because at this point, it sure feels like the Suns just have bad luck. The Suns aren't being talked about for potential anymore, which is trash. They're the new punchline of the NBA, with their front office mismanagement taking center stage. Perhaps ESPN Brian Windhurst said it best. They are excellent at talent acquisition. They are terrible at team building.
Yep.
And now the playing, we just laugh, man. We just laughing stock of the league right now. And let's be real, no. Phoenix is sitting in 11th place right now. And those playoff dreams are fading fast. We're not going to even make it to the playoffs. The odds are against us. And Vegas knows it. FanDuel odds right now, plus 9,500 to win the Pacific. Plus 9,500. Plus 390 to make the playoffs. Plus 125 to even make the play-in that's over. Plus 4,400 to win the Western Conference. plus 8,500 to win the championship. We don't have a chance, man. It's not exactly inspiring. The Suns are running out of time fast, and if they don't figure it out now, this could go down as one of the biggest failures in franchise history. We are looking like trash. So, man, we lost last game, and I don't think we're going to be doing anything anytime soon. I don't know, man. Hit us up. Tell us what you think about the Suns, and we're gonna go into this last story for Comic Book Corner.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah, we did go and see that. You got to run the video. Did we have it? No, we have it.
Comic Book Corner. Sponsored by.
Hit us up at info@habaryentertainment.com and we'll get a package created for you.
Definitely. So speaking of Captain America: Brave New World, we did go see it yesterday.
Yeah, man, it was great. Good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
It was cool.
But you know, it did bring changes to the MCU, introducing new villains like Sidewinder, played by Giancarlo Esposito. While Sidewinder has a long comic history, this version seems to be a significant departure from the source material, suggesting potential future development for his character.
Yeah.
But you know, the film also did break MCU tradition by ditching the iconic Marvel Studios page flipping logo and
At the beginning, huh?
And opting for a black and white, no nonsense introduction that set a more grounded tone.
Yeah, it did.
Directed by Julius Ona, the movie follows Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, dealing with an international crisis, while also introducing Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross as the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
But you know, Marvel's Phase 5 is going to continue beyond Brave New World with movies like shows like Daredevil, Born Again, which comes to Disney Plus in March, and the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which will be in theaters later this year. Thunderbolts in May, and Fantastic Four in July.
Harrison Ford did a great job. You know, I wish there was a little bit more scenes with Harrison. I thought that he really ratcheted things up with some of his scenes, and just he's a great actor. I thought that there was some lackluster scenes. I thought that it needed to be a spy thriller. I thought that they needed to ratchet things up a little bit more. The music was great. They put you in the place that you needed to be. I just thought that a little bit more needed to happen.
Yeah, I do agree that there should have been more government espionage. We should have seen more of that.
A little bit more fire, especially from Harrison Ford in those conversations with Anthony Mackie. I thought those should have been a little bit more fired up and a little bit more anger in some of those conversations.
They should have been a little bit more animated in their conversational piece. I agree. But you know, I also thought that
go ahead, switch it, bro.
I could have used a little bit more action.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, my favorite portion of the movie would have been the action scene over the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. That was good.
But I needed more action from the government espionage portion. I needed to see more of what was going on behind the scenes and how the leader got the information and got to where he was at.
And his plan, I mean, his plan was good. It was pretty dope. 16 years to put the plan in. But I thought that it didn't really show his intelligence and how he was, he was able to see different
his
outcomes.
Calculations,
But I felt like it wasn't very smart what he was doing. And I thought that it should have been a little bit smarter. Exactly. So I don't know, man. It's a decent film, and I would give it like 6 or 7 out of 10. But it was some drops, and I thought that the ending was a little lackluster. It could have been a little more powerful. Seeing his daughter come in, we could have been a little bit more powerful.
That end credit scene?
No, it wasn't.
That was the worst end credit I've ever seen.
It was one of the worst. I mean, what they did move the story forward.
Uh-huh.
But I thought that the end credit scene just didn't have that power that most of the old ones did.
Right.
It wasn't a laugh. It wasn't a oh my goodness.
Right.
It wasn't.
The theater
You
was
didn't get
completely
that.
quiet.
Completely silent. So that was a ball drop. The leader, he had the look, but I thought he looked kind of goofy. But they tried to make him looking more little scarier, but it kind of didn't work. So I don't want to say the movie was terrible, man, but there was a couple things that could have been a little better.
Yes, definitely.
But go out and check it out for yourself. Tell me what you think, and hit us up in the comment section if you want to, and let us know. Like always, man, make sure to subscribe, follow, hit us up, share anything that has to do with it, Bari. We appreciate everybody coming in. We appreciate Katie Turnbridge. I don't know why I want to keep calling her Turnbridge. Tunbridge for coming in and talking about our music. We really appreciate her. She's a great artist. That's, like I said, 30 years in the game. So she's been doing great for years. And we appreciate everybody putting in their comments and everything. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Holla, holla.
Peace.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to visit www.habarientertainment.com. See you next week. Peace.
And then I think you should have already gotten your pay for the cool.
Right.
Sweet. See you tomorrow.
Let me see. I'll try. You gotta jiggle around with it for a little bit. Kind of hurts our views. Yep. That's how it goes.
YouTube is not showing the live feed.
I heard you, so we didn't go live on YouTube?
We were live on YouTube. I saw it on my laptop the entire time. But that's not showing me the live feed.
Are you thinking something?
It's showing that we are still live.
You never hit live in the damn application.